Welcome back to another AI Practitioner Exam Bite, reviewing the question from the previous episode, asking us which of the following best describes the relationships between prompts and prompt engineering in generative AI. The answer is D. Prompts are the initial inputs given to AI models, while prompt engineering is the art of crafting effective prompts to guide the model's output. Prompts are the initial inputs, questions, statements, or instructions given to an AI model to generate a response, and the prompt engineering is the skill of crafting these inputs effectively to guide the AI in producing relevant and accurate responses. All right, today we're continuing our coverage of foundation models with the exam objective, describe the foundation model lifecycle. For example, data selection, model selection, pre-training, fine-tuning, evaluation, deployment, and feedback. Now, just as a refresher from the previous episode, foundation models are large pre-trained models that serve as a base for various tasks. They're trained on vast amounts of data and can be adapted for specific purposes. Let's take a closer look at how foundation models are developed and then can be used and adapted for specific tasks by users such as yourselves. As with everything to do with AI and ML, it starts with data selection. This involves gathering high quality, diverse, and representative data sets that align with the model's intended purpose. For example, some large language models are trained on all the publicly available text on the internet. Next, you need to complete model selection, or more specifically, a suitable pre-existing model architecture. If you're building a large language model, you may choose a transformer-based model architecture like GPT. Or if you're building an image generation model, you may choose a diffusion-based model architecture. Now comes the heavy lifting, during the pre-training stage. During this, the model is trained on that large and diverse data set we identified during the data selection stage. We call this pre-training as it aims to give the model a general understanding of the task at hand. It's like giving the model a broad education before specializing on a particular topic or tasks. It's unlikely that you would do any of what we just described yourself. Developing foundation models takes a huge amount of time, effort, and resources. Instead, what you'll most likely do is take a foundation model which has already been developed and then adapt that foundation model to your own use case. That's what we call fine-tuning, where we tailor the pre-trained model to our specific task. Essentially, we conduct a little bit more training of the model with a smaller, task-specific data set to adapt the model's knowledge to our particular use case. Now, once that's done, time to evaluate the model using relevant metrics and benchmark datasets to ensure it meets our requirements. And when we're satisfied with the model's performance, we deploy it to a production environment where it can start serving real-world requests. But remember, the cycle doesn't end at deployment. We continuously gather user feedback and monitor the model's performance in the real world. This information feeds back into the cycle, potentially triggering further fine-tuning or even a new iteration of the entire process. So remember, this lifecycle is iterative. As new data becomes available or requirements change, we might loop back through these stages to improve our model. Let's do a review question before wrapping up. In the foundation model lifecycle, what is the primary purpose of the fine-tuning stage? Is it A, to evaluate the model's performance using benchmark datasets? B, to deploy the model to a production environment for real-world use? C, to adapt the pre-trained model to a specific task using a smaller, task-specific dataset? Or D, to train the model on a large corpus of unlabeled data for general language understanding? Post your answer in the comments, and I'll see you in the next episode where we'll answer this question and also look at the use cases of generative AI models.